Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here, coach of the New York Dreepys with a brand new draft league, the APA. So don't worry, WB is still going on and all of that. And I'm actually recording this February 25th. The draft that this is live on is February 29th. But I'm also playing like my week 7 and week 8 matches because I'll be on vacation during the first week of the APA. But don't worry, all that stuff is going to be played in advance. Don't worry. But yeah, it's a brand new draft league, and I know y'all read the title. I'm pretty sure I had to put MELMETAL something there. But basically, this is a Pokemon home-based draft league, so or post-home. So you are actually allowed to use Pokemon and movesets that did come out with Pokemon Home, as opposed to with WBE you couldn't use, for example, Roost Hydreigon in the WBE because the WBE started before Pokemon Home, so they wanted to keep it home. Now, originally we had drafted and my team was completely different than what you guys are about to see, but because we decided to wait for Pokemon Home, we were able to redraft, and I went from last pick in the draft to first pick in the draft, and MELMETAL was legal. So if y'all know anything about me and MELMETAL, it has probably been the most fun Pokemon for me to use ever. And I'm not saying it's my favorite. No. That'll always be Suicune, and then Latios and Latias are up there as well. But MELMETAL is definitely my favorite Pokemon to use as of right now, just because I love to click Choice Band Double Iron Bash, which is effectively 214 base power when you factor in both Stab and Iron Fist. So I'm really excited to draft this Pokemon. The way that the APA, works is that Pokemon are tiered, or for those that don't know what the hell Draft League is, basically Pokemon are tiered. Your coaches, the coaches are the players, those are myself and a few other friends. We actually have Janvat and Moed in this one, as well as Envy and Chimpact. That's really cool too. Gator was in it as well, but he kind of dropped it because of school and having to find a job and whatnot, which is a perfectly reasonable excuse to not be in the APA. But I'm still excited. I get to do Wi-Fi battles with my friends. I get to play versus them, and it should be a lot of fun. But yeah, MELMETAL is a fantastic first pick, if I do say so myself. This mom broken. It's borderline broken. I mean, it got banned to Ubers in Smogon, and I'm assuming in Draft League it's going to be amazing. I'm just going to click Double Iron Bash most of the time. If you guys know anything about the WB with me, and I have a Haxorus, with Haxorus I try to bring Choice Band every week just because I love Choice Band. I think with MELMETAL it might be something similar, just because I want to click Double Iron Bash. I'm really hoping to get 30 kills. It's a 12-week season. I'm hoping to get 30 kills with MELMETAL throughout the season. Might be wishful thinking, but who knows? I'll try my best. Let's see. But yeah, MELMETAL is our first pick. Amazing HP stat, attack and defense. Even a usable special attack stat, which is pretty funny. And just a phenomenal move pull. And I get everything, man. I get everything with it, which is just so cool. And I could just give it a Choice Band. Now, we do have Gigantamax allowed in the APA. However, it's different than the WBE in an effort to limit Gigantamaxes, because they definitely are broken, even when, especially the more offensive ones. GRIMMSNARL, for instance, is very scary. Duraludon is very scary, just because these offensive ones can set up or hit hard immediately and just have that insane bulk. They did nerf the way that Gigantamax was used. So I actually drafted GRIMMSNARL. A lot of this had to do with the fact that Envy used it, and I've seen Envy play, and again, like, Gigantamax is so busted that it does not matter what the score is for the most part when Envy's playing. If GRIMMSNARL comes out, it kind of just wins for him a lot of the time in his WBE games. So I decided to draft GRIMMSNARL because the way the APA handled Gmax is that they can't hold items. They basically have to hold Pokeballs. And that's their way of nerfing it, right? So Gmax, for example, with like a Life Orb or a Resist Berry or a Weakness Policy, in my case with Orbeetle back in the WBE, kind of OP, right? Kind of OP. So in an effort to nerf it, they said, okay, you can hold Pokeballs. However, I have one of the 3 Gmaxes that do learn Trick, so definitely expect me to trick away my Pokeball and take somebody's item during the APA. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, Gmax GRIMMSNARL has that 50% chance to yawn you with its Gmax Snooze. Great attack stat. It's just a great Pokemon in general. Prankster and whatnot. Bulk ups, Thunder Waves, dual screens. Really does support MELMETAL a lot, and also appreciates MELMETAL killing every Pokemon in existence. You know, any partner would like that out of their Pokemon. It just has a phenomenal move pull as well. It can go special and physical, as we've seen. Okay, speed tier, not the best, but providing Thunder Wave support for itself as well as other Pokemon. is a big thing when it comes to GRIMMSNARL. And I'm excited to use this Pokemon too, even if it is locked into a Pokeball. I don't think it needs an item to be busted. I just think that, you know, I'll set up and win a lot of times with it too. It's going to be competing with MELMETAL. Now my next pick. So this draft was done before Pokemon Home officially came out, and everybody was assuming that, you know, Libero, Cinderace, and Sniper, and Teleon, and Grassy Surge, Rillaboom would be out. Cinderace isn't allowed to have that ability, even if it was released, but Rillaboom was allowed to have Grassy Terrain, and Teleon was allowed to have Sniper. So I picked up Tier 2 Rillaboom. I had no idea how this thing was in Tier 2 or Grassy Terrain, but I get basically a free Grassy Terrain mon. Even though it's not out, they have like a bot trading us the Pokemon or whatever, so I guess it doesn't really matter, considering the way we do battles in this league versus each other with the chess timer is via land mode, and land mode doesn't have a hack check. I have no idea how it works. So like I'll get my Grassy Terrain Rillaboom from that, and I'll be okay to battle as long as I don't go online with it. Though apparently it works online too. I don't know. It's just the beginning of the generation. I have no idea how this is going to work exactly, and hopefully I don't do anything wrong with my Switch. But great attack stat, great HP stat. Now it has recovery and Grassy Terrain. Also supports the team with Grassy Terrain, weakening Earthquakes for MELMETAL. And again, I can do things with Subseed and Drum Beating, so lower speed as well. I still have Earthquake too if I don't want to run Grassy Terrain for whatever reason. Has U-Turn too. I mean, the big thing it doesn't have, or the thing that Bulu has over it, is Horn Leech. So Rillaboom, while it does have Drum Beating, which is an amazing stab move that lowers your speed and it's boosted by terrain, it doesn't have that way of, you know, getting back reliable recovery, and it doesn't learn Synthesis as well. So Drain Punch though is an option that it does have for recovery, and Leech Seed, that's about it as far as I can see. But excited to use this mon too, and I'm happy that I got it with terrain. Definitely was trying to aim for Hawlucha. However, I didn't realize, I always forget that some drafts are based on points and not tiers. So I end up picking up stuff that doesn't allow me to get Hawlucha, as you guys will see. But next up, I picked up ROTOM-HEAT because the plan was get ROTOM-HEAT plus Water Ground, whether that be Quagsire, Seismitoad, Gastrodon, or whatever. Ended up getting ROTOM-HEAT right here because it's one of the main MELMETAL answers, for one. Unfortunately, because of the way this draft works, it was double drafted, right? So there's 10 people on one side, 10 people on the other side. So there's 3 other people in MELMETAL, because 2 Gmax MELMETALs, which was allowed for some reason, and the other MELMETAL as well that was allowed. So kind of sucks because I don't feel as special using MELMETAL, but it's completely fine. But ROTOM-HEAT, either way, there's more ROTOM-HEATs out there. But it's one of the answers to MELMETAL. It also has Defog, Pain Split as well, Volt Switch, Nasty Plot, amazing arsenal in that. And just being a nice little answer to the ground type attacks coming out, and the fire type attacks coming out on my team so far. Beautiful Pokemon with that. I think ROTOM-HEAT is a really, really annoying Pokemon to fight. I'm just thinking about like Wolf's team and everything like that in the APA. Actually, in the WB. He's not in the APA. But yeah, Rotom still got some nasty tricks this generation with Nasty Plot specifically. And it really opened up this Pokemon, especially with the addition of heavy duty boots. I think that Rotom gets a lot better in draft, so I'm excited to use the toaster oven. We have next up Gastrodon. Like I did say, I was going for the Water Ground, whether it be Seismitoad, Quagsire, or Gastrodon in itself. And I really wanted Gastrodon because, or at least one of them, because of the water absorb thing. I fought Dracovish. I've seen Dracovish. Now I don't think Dracovish has the best matchup versus me, considering MELMETAL can live a hit. Rillaboom as well, but like a banded one is still very scary. So having Storm Drain on Gastrodon, giving me an amazing water ground in general, amazing electric immunity. And the big thing as well is that there's no hidden power this generation. So a lot of times I'm not even going to have to run Rindo Berry because I don't have to worry about random hidden power grass throwing me off from Pokemon, right? For example, if I fight a Rotom and I fight a ROTOM-HEAT and I have a Gastrodon, I'm going to always wall that thing unless it's like trick ring target, right? So reliable recovery. Unfortunately, this Pokemon does not get Stealth Rock, which is what differentiates it between this and Seismitoad and a few other things, but also has Memento, which is a pretty big thing too. And Memento allows me to, you know, potentially set up for sweeps for either Gmax GRIMMSNARL or Rillaboom or anything like that. So so far what I love about my team is I have Volt Turn already in Rillaboom and Rotom, and I have ways of setting up, whether it be screens with GRIMMSNARL if I want to use my Gmax for that, or Memento with Gastrodon allowing MELMETAL to come in. Obviously MELMETAL also has Iron Defense as well, or Acid Armor rather is better, with the Body Press. So I got a Pokemon next. I kind of like, I don't know, these next few picks were a little bit interesting to me. Because I really wanted to use Coalossal in the draft, but I wasn't sure if I needed it because I had Rotom, but I also had no Stealth Rock at this point and no spin support, though I do have Defog on Rotom. So Coalossal provides me a few cool things. First off, it means I can switch back and forth between my fire types. Like, I'm not forced to run Rotom, right? If my opponent has like answers, or if my opponent's really weak to fire type attacks, and I don't want to bring Rotom because they also happen to have something that checks that, but that doesn't check Coalossal, I can bring Coalossal instead. Coalossal provides Spikes, Stealth Rock, and Rapid Spin support. Has great abilities as well in Flame Body, Flash Fire, and even Steam Engine might be able to do something. And just a great move pool. Will-O-Wisp support options. And unfortunately, it's not the best offensively, only base 80 in the attack stats, but it's base 120 defense and it's base 110 HP. I thought it worked really well, especially with terrain support and, you know, coupled with Gastrodon, right? Gastrodon taking the water type attacks aimed at Coalossal, and like they just pair really well, like Fire, Water, Grass, either Rillaboom, Rotom, Gastrodon, Rillaboom, Coalossal, Gastrodon. They just work really, really well together, and providing me spin support. Speaking of spin support, as well as another Stealth Rocker, CLAYDOL is my tier 5 pick. I think it's my only tier 5 pick in the entire draft, if I'm not mistaken, because we had to get one. The tier 5 kind of whack, and I'm not a big fan of CLAYDOL. Okay, so CLAYDOL was used in my first ever draft of the UCL. It was one of the first Pokemon I ever used, and in Draft League. And wasn't the best. I always ran calcs with it, and it just never really did anything. And it's not that it's that much stronger now, but it did get a little bit of a buff. And that buff is the fact that it has access to Nasty Plot. But the other one is also Rapid Spin and Teleport. So basically, I guess also you can count Cosmic Power too if you want to. But the buff about Rapid Spin obviously is that it gives you speed, which is a really, really strong thing. So it gives you that speed. It gives you the so it makes CLAYDOL not be like it's not passive. It's not as passive because it's not as easy to revenge kill, right? And obviously Teleport is cool because the way Teleport works in this generation, and since Let's Go, is that it's a -6 switch. So it's basically an attack I use, I stay in, they can, and I can get momentum out of that, right? It doesn't have U-turn, but it gives me, it's like a baton pass that doesn't pass stats. So that's what it basically is, and it's -6. So it's the move that's more than likely going to go last always, but it gives me some momentum with that. And of course, Nasty Plot also gives me a chance of using offensive CLAYDOL. But another big thing with CLAYDOL is that it provides support for MELMETAL because it provides Trick Room for the team. So CLAYDOL can Trick Room and Explode or Teleport, depending, get in my MELMETAL safely, and I can just click that double Iron Bash. So that's what I feel like CLAYDOL can provide some sort of support. It also gives me a fighting resist for the team, which I was currently lacking before. A nice little Terrakion answer, which is cool because it also resists the rock type attacks. I mean, Gastrodon could do it too, but it's a nice little Terrakion answer right there. The Terrakion does have Mega Horn now, so we'll see. But it was my tier 5 pick. I could have actually gotten Piloswine for tier 4, by the way, instead of Coalossal, but because I don't think Piloswine was picked. But I was like, I mean, if I want to reuse some mons, as much as I love Piloswine in draft, because I really do, there's certain mons that I want to reuse and certain mons that I don't. And I don't know. We'll see though. You guys will see the rest of my draft. Next up, we do have Hitmonlee. Now, Hitmonlee is cool because it has Unburden, and I do have the grassy terrain. Now, as I mentioned, this draft was based on points, and I kind of forgot. So I wasn't able to get Hawlucha, right? If I got Hawlucha, I couldn't get anything good left. Or I actually couldn't even get Hawlucha, and even if I got like the rest of my Pokemon tier 5. So I was like, okay, whatever. Hitmonlee's pretty cool. I think it hits, I mean, I already know Hitmonlee hits really hard. Obviously it has good abilities in Reckless and Unburden. I guess Limber could be cool too. But Reckless powering up the high jump kick. But the big thing about Hitmonlee is not only giving me rapid spin support, but like I said, it has the Unburden ability, so I can run like Grassy Seed with Rillaboom plus Hitmonlee, making it very hard to deal with. Rapid Spin obviously being buffed as well, giving it a speed boost too, and then Hitmonlee also having knockoff and whatnot. So it's a nice strong fighting type, and it's just a very, very, very strong mon in general here. And I like Hitmonlee. I like it as a fighting type. I think it's a solid tier 3, tier 4. Basically, it was either, if I want the Unburden mons, I could get like Thievul, I could get like Drifblim. I opted for Hitmonlee. I thought Hitmonlee just brought more to the team. I don't know how many times I'll be bringing all these Pokemon. I'll be honest, like I got a lot of great physical offense right here, so I don't know how many times Hitmonlee will come, but it could definitely help me with sweeps. And also it's cool because like Pokemon like Obstagoon, for instance, might be a little bit threatening to the team right now. I just Mach Punch that. I told you guys earlier that I picked up CLAYDOL, which was in my first ever draft. I actually picked up another Pokemon that was in my first ever draft as well. ACCELGOR, or known back then as S1 Ninja. But ACCELGOR is a beautiful Pokemon. Amazing speed tier and provides me spike support as well. My team was kind of slow. My fastest mon, I believe, was RILLABOOM. Or no, actually, no, it was Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee was my fastest mon, so I want to up my speed, which if you guys don't know, the way that helps you in draft is that it forces Pokemon to, for example, if I'm fighting, let's say, I don't want to say that needs a speed tier now that needs a boosting one. Okay, let's say I'm fighting an Electrode, okay? Electrode could run Modest versus my team. Electrode ain't even good versus my team, but just an example. Electrode would run Modest versus my team if I didn't have an ACCELGOR, right? Because ACCELGOR is just a few points slower than Timid Electrode, and because that's the case, Electrode is more likely to run Timid here, which means that it has less power to do damage versus my team. So picking up different speed tiers are great in draft because you really cover that, and that's exactly what ACCELGOR does for me. Not only that, but it gives me a nice spiker and toxic spiker for the team. U-turn for momentum. ACCELGOR has cool things as well. Also has Unburden too, so it can work with RILLABOOM if I really wanted to. It has Baton Pass or U-turn for momentum. Now in this league, Baton Pass you can only dry pass, so you can't like set up and Baton Pass at all in this league, which is fine. I do think Baton Pass is also kind of, you know, borderline busted. But yeah, ACCELGOR has a great special attack stat. Throat Spray is pretty cool too with Bug Buzz. And Encore as well, just having some good support. I always loved the ACCELGOR when I drafted it. I'm happy to have it once again on the team. It always did work whenever I used it. So I went from a team with like no hazards to, you know, Spike Stealth Rock, more Stealth Rock, and now T-Spike and even another Spike option. So next up is a Pokemon that I very much have been enjoying in this generation, and that's VANILLUXE. VANILLUXE gave me an Ice type. It gave me Aurora Veil for MELMETAL, which I really liked. And I'm just a big fan. I think Hail plus Aurora Veil in general is just really cool. This Pokemon hits hard. All it really needs is 100% accurate Blizzards because of its own ability, as well as the Freeze Dry to deal with Water type. So just being an Ice type that has a stab move that allows you to deal with the Water types is really nice. It can be a Stall Breaker with Taunt plus Blizzard because it's really strong. Has Ice Shard for priority as well, Magico. So while it's pretty straightforward in what it can do, it's good at what it can do as well. And that's really what it does. Again, a big support for the team. Imagine me setting up Aurora Veil, and then you have to deal with me bulking up with GRIMMSNARL, and then Gigantamaxing, or me getting in my Choice Band Melmetal, and your Choice Band Earthquake Excadrill doing like 50%, 40% with Aurora Veil, and I just knock you out with my Choice Band Double Iron Bash because I ain't even clicking my own Earthquake or anything like that. So it does support the team, and it gives me a good special offensive threat too. Not that I didn't have. I think ROTOM is great. I think that ACCELGOR is great, but it gives me another a stronger special attacker, and it also helps me cover some speed tiers in between RILLABOOM and GRIMMSNARL, because after that I kind of like slowed down a little bit. So VANILLUXE gives me that as well. So it forces base 80s to run timid natures or jolly natures, whatever. Basically it forces base 80s to run plus speed natures. So that's a really good thing. So I never go home, or I never draft without my my grounded poison. This time though, my grounded poison isn't always grounded. I have Galarian Weezing as my final pick in this draft. Now what I mean by grounded poison is that a Pokemon that can, and I'm not saying ground poison, okay? Some people always hear that, like grounded poison. Come on. It's a Pokemon, it's a ground type that's, it's a poison type, excuse me, that is touching the ground, which means that it can absorb Toxic Spikes when it comes in, and that's where Weezing comes in. Weezing has 3 good abilities now. It has Levitate, it has Neutralizing Gas, so I can deal with my opponent's ability and getting rid of that, and it also has Misty Surge, which is pretty cool with Unburden as well, and also like Melmetal, you know, letting it avoid Will-O-Wisp and whatnot, but also activating maybe the seeds, the Misty Seeds on Hitmonlee, ACCELGOR, whatever I want, any of my Pokemon really. So Weezing also provides defog support, so my team is really covered. I got triple spinner, and I have double defog, so that's really nice. But providing me defog support, providing me with a secondary Toxic Spike user, providing me with a Cleric because it has aromatherapy, and giving me both a poison and a fairy type on my team, so helping out with the fighting type weakness that I do have for sure, because Melmetal is weak to fighting COALOSSAL's weak to fighting, VANILLUXE is weak to fighting, and the rest don't really. They're either neutral or they barely resist, right? Like ACCELGOR resists fighting, but ACCELGOR isn't known for its defense, right? So it does help me out, and then obviously, you know, it helps me out with that. And again, another Memento Pokemon, another Pokemon that can do whatever it wants. Will-O-Wisp, Haze. It has such a wide move pool too, so I'm excited for this season of the APA. It's a 12-week season, man, so it's so long. But I think it'll be done right before the DLC comes out, which is pretty cool too. So yeah, if you guys are rooting for the New York Dreepys, feel free to leave a like and with all that stuff. Let me know in the comment sections down below. Comment sections. But yeah, leaving a like does help me out. Leaving a comment does help me out. Tell me your favorite Pokemon. As far as nicknames for the Pokemon, I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm not doing One Piece like I did with WBE, but yeah, you'll see. Y'all like. I'm sure the majority of you guys will like the nicknames, but yeah. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more of the APA, because the APA will be starting next week. I believe next Sunday is when the first battle goes up, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, my friends.